The illicit alcohol unit we showed you was operating in Chhapra, just 3 kilometers away from the district administration headquarters. Right under the nose of the local authorities, you've got illegal alcohol being produced in a state where there is supposed to be prohibition. 70 people plus dead. Is it time, and this is just in the last few days, in one district, is it time for Nitish Kumar to cut his losses and accept that prohibition simply hasn't worked and that there must be a revision of the government's stand on the 2016 policy which introduced prohibition in the state of Bihar? Joining us on this broadcast, representing the ruling Janata Dal United government in Bihar, Dr. Sunil Singh, its spokesperson. For a perspective from the opposition BJP, Dr. Dhananjay Giri. From the NADA India Foundation, we have its founding chairperson Sunil Vatsayan, and Manisha Priyam joins us, leading political analyst, somebody who comes from Bihar and understands the social political landscape better than most. Rohit Singh joins us. He is the India Today television correspondent in Patna. I want to go across to Dr. Sunil Singh first. 3 kilometers away from the district administration headquarters in Chhapra, where 70 people died just last week, India Today's special investigation team finds that alcohol is being produced. Those producing the alcohol say cops also come here, they also drink this alcohol. You have blood on your hands. This policy clearly doesn't seem to be working. Is there a sense of regret and realization in the Nitish Kumar administration that maybe it is high time that we put an end to this ill thought out policy and accept that this was a mistake?
Look, there is total prohibition in the state of Bihar since 2000 to 2016. But then, yes, a few people with criminal-minded people, they are into this illicit liquor business, and unfortunately, lives are lost because of this only. And you know, we have sympathy with all the lives lost. We are really with them. But then, the few people like your cameraman shooted. I mean, they're making illicit liquor. I don't deny. There are laws against murder. There are laws against everything. But then still that crime is committed. I don't justify it. But state government has done a lot. State government has done many arrests, and the state government has got a crackdown on illicit liquor mafias. That state government is doing. And about the whosoever involved with whosoever political party, doesn't matter at all. Honorable Nitish Kumar is known to not to compromise on the issue of law and order. That we are doing so. But yes, this thing has happened.
Abhayanand is a well-known former Director General of Bihar. We are hearing from the ruling government, Mr. Abhayanand, that yes, murders happen. It doesn't mean you can, prevent murders somehow. Even if you did away with the act of prohibition, illicit alcohol could still be made and sold, and therefore it's about dealing with law and order. It's not about the larger issue of whether prohibition works. The JDU government still seems to believe that prohibition is something they should continue with. From a law and order perspective, has prohibition made things worse or better?
It's not only that. All political parties, they were
Mr. Abhayanand.
That total prohibition.
Well, my take on this prohibition is that, as a matter of principle, it's a very good thing.
Okay.
But on the issue of implementation, a lot needs to be done. My understanding of the situation, after having seen it from a distance, because let me confess very clearly that when I was in service, prohibition was not there in Bihar, so I have not seen it functioning properly, the way it is. My understanding is that prohibition has created a lot of black money, and that is the main reason for the problems that are coming up in the matter of implementation of this act. As I said, the act, I stand by the act. But we are going after people who are, I would like to call them victims of the crime. There are people who are earning crores of rupees, and where are they? The real issue is, can the Bihar police or the Bihar government identify those people and hold them up under the PMLA I can give you an example. When I was a DGP, this act was not there. And when I handled this situation, there were 3 back-to-back hooch tragedies in the state when there was no Prohibition Act, and I created the facts in a way, I wouldn't say created, I interpreted the facts in a way that all these became economic offences, loss to the state of revenue, and I handled them under this 420 and other sections of the IPC where cheating was involved. And finally, I remember at least 2 or 3 of these top businessmen who were doing this hauled up under the PMLA through the Enforcement Directorate, and I thought it made a big impact when this act was not there for me to implement.
You make an important point.
Now the police
Dr.
has
Dhananjay
this act.
Giri, I think the question now is, should prohibition itself be done away with? Both Mr. Abhay Anand and the JDU spokesperson Sunil Singh seem to suggest that this is a law and order problem. It needs to be dealt with from a law and order perspective. You may have the fanciest motor traffic rules, but people still jump red lights or they drive without traffic belts. It doesn't mean that prohibition itself has failed, and it doesn't mean that you do away with red lights or do away with the rule that you have to have a seat belt on.
Rahulji, first I would like to thank your team who has done this sting operation, and after seeing that in detail, nothing is left to tell, because everything is crystal clear. It is going in the neck of, in the nose of government. So who is operating this? Where the money is going on? Sir, ex-DGP Sahab told, after Jungle Raj, when Sir has taken charge, Bihar, he done tremendous reforms in Bihar. I must thanks to him. But the thing is here, Saran, whose tragedy is a resultant of lawlessness, incompetence, anarchy and rigidity of Mr. Nitish Kumar. Same time, I would like to endorse Mr. Manjhi, who was telling that लिखा परदेश किस्मत में वतन को याद क्या करना, जहां हाकिम ही जालिम है वहां फरियाद क्या करना. He is with Nitish Kumar. He is saying that he is jalim. It seems that the planning and display. Nitish Kumar, in the way he is talking, he is planning to display the incident of hoarding on digital board for success of his unsuccessful dreams. He says that the hooch tragedy in Chhapra region is an example of how liquor is injurious to health. If someone consumes liquor, he will die. An example is before us. Smiles on the issue expose his insensitivity and cruel face. Bihar is tearful and Nitish is cheerful. See, so the main thing is there that the administration and the liquor mafia is having hand in gloves with each other. Where the money is going on? See,
okay.
It's a
you are accusing that the liquor mafia is in cahoots with the local administration and the state government. I want to go across to Manisha Priyam for an independent assessment of the situation. Is it your view that Bihar was better off without prohibition? Has prohibition indeed brought down wife beating, for example, that there is less, because that's one of the reasons why I remember traveling with Nitish Kumar during the 2015 campaign. A lot of women said that they were beaten up or the men would steal all the money and therefore they wanted prohibition. So it was very popular when it came in. Manisha Prem, has it helped solve those problems or has it made things worse? Let me put that same question to Sunil Vatsayan, the founding chairperson of the NADA India Foundation. Do you think that prohibition can stay and the challenge is to fix the issues of implementation, or do you think as a policy itself we're now coming around to the view that this is actually not working and the sooner you do away with it, the better off Bihar is?
I think if you see the prohibition as a policy measure, or a measure which is only available because this is the only way one can do it, because there is no other provision as such as far as national alcohol policy is concerned. That is my first take. The intention was very good because the intention was domestic violence. The child, that was something to do with the best interest of the child and the welfare of the people. But the implementation and the law and order situation, which is because there are 2 ways one need to see it. One is supply side, which your report is supplementing, like it is talking about, I think very clearly, what it all means to be there in the Bihar. But now the question comes, where is our mechanism of rehabilitation? Where is our mechanism of prevention? Where is our mechanism for the treatment? Why these all the mechanism has not been integrated as an approach? Because the person who is supplying and the person who is going to have it and their family members, because there was a time when everybody was like together, but now it looked so segregated and departmentalized that other departments are not able to integrate with other. So it means the health department, it means there are other, it has to be integrated one go, because prohibition is something which has to be taken care of by the leadership itself, like Nitish Kumar. It has to be a day-to-day policing, it has to be a day-to-day community policing where
No, but there is policing, but the problem is it doesn't seem to be providing the results. For example,
yeah, so it is not effective.
Yes, absolutely, because in, for example, in the district of Chapra alone, since January 2022, more than 3,400 FIRs have been filed, 9,000 people have been arrested, and yet illicit alcohol is being produced. Manisha, Priyam, can you give us your sense of whether prohibition has made things better for the people of Bihar, especially the women? Is it working as a policy, or do you think Nitish Kumar should just cut his losses, say prohibition isn't working, and find a way of doing away with this policy?
So, Rahul, you have to give me time. There's one side of the policy, if people have died and there's been illicit liquor, certainly nobody can deny that there is an implementation failure. But as far as the broad tenets of the policy are concerned, let me tell you that in August of 2022, as also in December of 2022, I've landed at the Patna airport and I've driven down to village areas of Saran. Even 10 or 11 at night, there's electricity, there are good roads, and there is no misbehaving of men on the road, right? So there's no denying the fact that there is a consolidation of women and there is a freedom from men. And remember, this is a very, very rural state. People are not civilized. They are not holding their drinks in an urban, upper class, posh drawing room. All the extra consumption of alcohol, ultimately it's the women who are suffering. The household incomes are small. Money is diverted away on alcohol. So by and large, although women do not speak up, remember they have been referred to as the chuppa voters, the silent voters. But women continue to back the policy very strongly, and Bihar does remain very peaceful. However, let me add and tell you here that a state like Bihar has not been able to implement it very well if this is how illicit liquor is flowing all over the place. So whether with Mr. Nitish Kumar's policy implementation ambitions are shared by the police or not, I do not know. The police administration certainly are not with him on this policy measure. As far as the chuppa and silent voters are concerned, I can give you proof of the pudding that yes, it's been peaceful with electricity.
So you're blaming the police. Just one second. Let's get the former DGP to answer that question. I'm coming back to you in a moment. You're saying that Nitish Kumar wants the policy. The women of Bihar benefit from the policy, but the police of Bihar, which you ran, Mr. Abhayanand, isn't backing the policy's implementation, isn't doing their job. The police is corrupt, which is why this policy is a failure. Respond to that, Mr. Abhayanand.
Well, there are two aspects to this prohibition thing. As I have said earlier, the policy part of it, I stand by it. The other is, there are certain crimes which are, as they say, social issues. For example, dowry, that's a social crime, social issue crime, which has to be distinguished from professional crimes like murders, or professional murders or kidnappings. So the police basically is trained to do this professional thing. This hooch, the prohibition aspect also has a professional angle. If you take up the economic aspect of it, then it becomes a very professional crime. And I had handled it the way I am telling you right now, without the Prohibition Act. So one of your speakers was very right when he said that you have to bring out other dimensions also. For example, awareness, sensitivity among the policemen. Now, if a policeman himself is used to drinking liquor, how much do you expect of him when he is asked to go ahead and police the Prohibition Act? It's slightly, not very commensurate with.
No, but can I counter argue with Manisha Priyam to say that blaming the police is easy, but no matter where you do this, if you have a policy which itself is flawed, there will be some circumvention found, whether it is through the import of alcohol from neighboring states, whether it is through, it's just down to human behavior. It's not just the police. Blaming the police is easy. Maybe there is something deeper and more flawed with the idea of prohibition, that people simply don't accept it. They will find some jugaad solution around it.
So
I think you are very right when you say this.
Manisha Priyam.
Yeah, the real comparator is that was illicit liquor being brewed in Bihar even when alcohol was permitted or not? My answer is yes. The problem here is that you have a very poor state, people get into this habit, even if the policy is flawed or whether it's in place or not, the real comparator will be that check out how many huge tragedies have happened. The real issue is that those who are brewing this illicit liquor have no care for human lives. We are talking about a state where the same Saran has something called Gandaman, where children of poor, backward caste families are fed a state-mandated midday meal, which is a very good policy, laced with some kind of poison. So you have a very bad situation where poor people lose their lives either in caste battles or in midday meals, which is a very good state policy, or in alcohol, which is poisonous. Now, whether alcohol is allowed legally or not, illegal hooch should not be brewed under any circumstances. And who is to bear the brunt for this? That is the real question. And I can tell you that for alcohol, when the quotas and thekas were distributed, ask anybody in Bihar, there would be firing at block offices. So, it was not as if that when alcohol was permitted, there was a sushashan happening in Bihar. The real situation is very, very different. The block level distribution of quotas, you have a former very respected policeman on your show, ask him these two questions as to whether what was the situation at block level offices. Political parties would want.
You make an important point. I want to go across to senior BJP leader, former Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Sushil Modi. He's been Nitish Kumar's right-hand man while they were in government. Now he's in opposition. He's also been part of the government when there was prohibition. Manisha Priyam, Modi ji makes an important point कि जब अल्कोहल अलाउड थी तब भी तो हूच बिक रही थी, तब भी डेथ्स हो रही थी इलीगल अल्कोहल के कंजम्पशन के चलते. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि प्रोहिबिशन पॉलिसी में कुछ गड़बड़ है. ये तो पहले हो रहा था, तब भी हो रहा था जब आप सरकार में थे नीतीश कुमार के साथ. आपको अब ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम हो रही है क्योंकि आप विपक्ष में हैं और नीतीश सरकार में. सुशील मोदी जी.
देखिए, एक बात मैं पहले स्पष्ट कर दूं आपको कि जब नीतीश जी ने निर्णय लिया उस समय हम लोग विपक्ष में थे.
करेक्ट.
मैं लीडर वो अपोजिशन था, हम सरकार में नहीं थे. और जब नीतीश जी ने निर्णय लिया, उसका अकेले निर्णय लिया. एक कार्यक्रम में सुओ मोटो उन्होंने घोषणा कर दिया और बाद में समर्थन मांगने के लिए. तो मैंने उस समय कहा कि नीतीश जी सोच लीजिए, कर्पूरी जी इसको लागू नहीं करवा पाए, इनको वापस लेना पड़ा. तो नीतीश जी का यही कहना था कि मैं कर्पूरी ठाकुर हूं, मैं नीतीश कुमार हूं और मैं जानता हूं कैसे लागू करना. हमने साथ दिया. कौन विरोध करेगा? अगर कोई मुख्यमंत्री कहता है कि हम शराबबंदी लागू करना चाहते हैं तो कोई विरोध तो नहीं कर सकता है. और देखिए, चाहे हम साथ में थे, आज ये हम विरोध में हैं. सच्चाई तो ये है कि जो पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट है वो नीतीश कुमार के पास है, जो एक्साइज डिपार्टमेंट है वो नीतीश कुमार के पास है. और नीतीश कुमार के विभाग में कोई हस्तक्षेप नहीं कर सकता है, चाहे वो डिप्टी सीएम हो या बीजेपी हो या कोई और हो, कोई हस्तक्षेप नहीं कर सकता है. वो अपने डिपार्टमेंट को अपने तरीके से चलाते हैं. तो इसका फेलियर और इसका सक्सेस, इस दोनों का बोझ नीतीश कुमार को उठाना पड़ेगा. और देखिए, मरने की बात तो एक दूसरी बात है, लेकिन आप मरने वाली घटना को छोड़ भी दीजिए तो बिहार के अंदर शायद ही कोई गांव होगा जहां पर इलिसिट लिकर या अवैध शराब का कारोबार नहीं होता होगा. लगता है कि पूरे बिहार का पुलिस प्रशासन इसी काम में लग गया है. लोगों की अंधाधुंध कमाई हो रही है, पुलिस वालों का वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट हो गया इसके अंदर. क्योंकि 10,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा की कमाई कम से कम पुलिस वालों ने पिछले 6 साल के अंदर की होगी। तो ये पूरी तरह से फेल कर चुकी है। और देखिए, बिहार की बॉर्डर नेपाल से जुड़ी है, बगल में बंगाल है, झारखंड है, यूपी है। आखिर में बाहर से तो शराब आएगी ही, कौन रोक सकता है? और रोकने वाले जो लोग हैं वही लोग शामिल हैं। और कल एक दूसरे चैनल ने स्टिंग ऑपरेशन किया, जिसमें राष्ट्रीय जनता दल के विधान पार्षद रामबली चंद्रवंशी यह बयान दे, वो कह रहे हैं कि तेजस्वी यादव भी पीते। कौन नेता नहीं पीता है? सारे बड़े नेता पीते हैं, बंद कमरे में पीते हैं, उन पर तो कोई कार्रवाई नहीं करता है। और जो 4 लाख लोग जेल गए, उसमें बड़े लोग कितने हैं? 1,000 भी नहीं होंगे।
नहीं तो आपके हिसाब से क्या होना चाहिए? प्रोहिबिशन एज अ पॉलिसी
होम डिलीवरी हो जाती है,
इज नॉट वर्किंग। ये बात सही है, होम डिलीवरी होती है। अब क्या हिसाब से प्रोहिबिशन हटना चाहिए, क्या होना चाहिए?
मैं इस पर कुछ नहीं कहूंगा। सरकार जो निर्णय करेगी मैं उसके साथ हूं। नीतीश कुमार का निर्णय हम उनके साथ है, कल भी थे, आज भी है और आगे भी रहेंगे। नीतीश कुमार का निर्णय है। हम शराबबंदी का विरोध नहीं करते, न करेंगे, लेकिन रखना कि नहीं रखना ये उनको तय करना है, ये उनका काम है। आपने लागू किया, आप मुख्यमंत्री हैं, आपको लगा कि हम हिंदुस्तान में अमर हो जाएंगे इतिहास में कि नीतीश कुमार ने शराबबंदी लागू कर दिया। और आज इसे मैं कह रहा हूं कि आपके चैनल ने और लोगों ने स्टिंग ऑपरेशन किया, गांव गांव के अंदर शराब बिक रही है। और देखिए, बिहार में 1,000 से ज्यादा लोग मर चुके, 4 लाख लोग जेल गए। किसी दूसरे राज्य में 4 लाख लोग जेल गए क्या? गुजरात में भी शराबबंदी है, लेकिन वहां क्या 4 लाख लोग जेल गए? और देखिए, इसलिए हूच ये जो जहरीली शराब है, ये तो जहां शराबबंदी नहीं है वहां भी हो सकता है, मैं इसको स्वीकार करता हूं। लेकिन आपके यहां तो शराबबंदी है ना, तो शराबबंदी वाले राज्य में तो बिल्कुल नहीं होनी चाहिए। और कोई एक घटना नहीं है, कोई महीना नहीं जाता होगा जब बिहार के अंदर जहरीली शराब से 2, 4, 5 लोग नहीं मरते होंगे। आंकड़ा छिपाने से नहीं होता है। नेशनल क्राइम रिकॉर्ड ब्यूरो को आप आंकड़ा भेजते हैं, आपने आंकड़ा भेजा कि केवल 23 लोग मरे, यानी 6 साल में नीतीश जी के अनुसार बिहार में केवल 23 लोगों की मौत हुई जहरीली शराब से। और 2016 में जब पहला शराब कांड हुआ था, जिसमें 19 लोग मरे थे और 14 लोगों को 4-4 लाख रुपया नीतीश जी की सरकार ने मुआवजा दिया था। उस साल बिहार सरकार रिपोर्ट करी कि केवल 7 लोगों की मौत हुई। इससे बड़ा झूठ क्या हो सकता है? जो सच्चाई उसको स्वीकार कीजिए। अगर हम आईना दिखा रहे हैं तो गाली मत दीजिए हमको, धमकी देते हैं बर्बाद हो जाओगे, तरह तरह की बातें कहते हैं कि बीजेपी वालों को भगाओ विधानसभा से, जो पिएगा वो मरेगा। क्या पीने वाले की सजा मौत है? अरे पिएगा जेल जाएगा, समझ में आ सकता है, पीने वाला को जुर्माना देना पड़ेगा। लेकिन आपने ऐसा भय का माहौल पैदा कर दिया कि लोगों ने लाशों को जाकर जला दिया दूसरे जगह। लोग पोस्टमार्टम करने के लिए तैयार नहीं थे, तो गरीब आदमी को मालूम भी नहीं था कि पोस्टमार्टम कराना होता है। और थाने वाले लोग घर घर घूमकर धमकी दे रहे थे कि जाओ, चले जाओ, जला दो, पोस्टमार्टम मत करवाना, नहीं तो मैं इसी चीज।
नहीं, आपका सोल्यूशन क्या है? व्हाट इज योर पॉलिसी प्रिस्क्रिप्शन? यू बीन डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर सुशील जी, आपके हिसाब से क्या करने की जरूरत है इस प्रॉब्लम को फिक्स करने के लिए, वो बताइए ना।
टुडे नहीं, क्या करने की जरूरत है मैं कौन होता बताने वाला, वो सरकार जानेगी ना। जिन्होंने लागू किया, नीतीश कुमार सरकार में है, महागठबंधन है, उनको बताना। कल अगर हमारी सरकार बनेगी तब हम बताएंगे उस समय। आज तो जो सरकार में वो ना बताएंगे फॉर्मूला क्या करना नहीं करना। कभी पूछा नीतीश जी ने बुलाकर? तो इसलिए देखिए, मैं कोई सुझाव देने वाला नहीं हूं, मैं कोई सॉल्यूशन देने वाला व्यक्ति नहीं हूं। हम विपक्ष में है और विपक्ष की लड़ाई लड़ेंगे और एक्सपोज करेंगे। तो इसलिए नीतीश जी गुस्सा मत कीजिए। आज तक मैंने नीतीश जी को ऐसे गुस्से में नहीं देखा था। रौद्र रूप नीतीश कुमार का, बर्बाद कर देंगे, भगाओ बीजेपी वालों को, जो पिएगा मरेगा। अरे मरने पर शोक मनाने के बजाय हंस रहे हैं मुख्यमंत्री, लोगों का, मरने वालों का मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं। और मैं तो गया था छपरा, आपके भी चैनल के लोग गए हैं, कौन लोग हैं मरने वाले? सारे दलित, आदिवासी, गरीब लोग, एकदम हैंड टू माउथ लोग, जिनके घर में 3 बच्चे, छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, पत्नी है, कमाने वाला कोई नहीं है, मर गए। और जो मर गए तो उनकी मदद नहीं करेंगे आप? उनकी मदद क्यों नहीं करना चाहिए? क्यों नहीं करनी चाहिए मदद? क्या मानवता के आधार पर मदद नहीं करनी चाहिए? और गोपालगंज में क्यों मदद की? और बिहार के एक्साइज एक्ट के सेक्शन 42 में क्या लिखा है? क्या उसमें मुआवजे का प्रावधान नहीं है? तो अब मुख्यमंत्री क्यों बदल गए? अब तो जीतन राम मांझी, माले, सीपीआई, सीपीएम, कांग्रेस, सारी पार्टियां मांग कर रही हैं। तो इसलिए देखिए, बिहार की स्थिति दिन पर दिन भयावह होती जा रही है। और लॉ एंड ऑर्डर क्यों खराब हो रहा है? क्योंकि पूरा पुलिस महकमा एक ही काम में लग गया, शराबबंदी में। और शराबबंदी में क्यों लग गया? क्योंकि इसकी कमाई का सबसे बड़ा जरिया वो बन चुका है।
ओके, I'll leave it over there. Sushil Modi, thank you for joining us with your thoughts. You're in opposition saying, I'm opposition ki ladai ladenge. It's not my job to give a policy prescription. I want to go across to Rohit Singh, our correspondent in Patna. Sushil Modi ji not giving a policy prescription, but is there a sense of realization, Rohit, that this is now reaching a point where people are very seriously beginning to question the utility of prohibition? Is Nitish Kumar having any second thoughts, or does he intend to double down to try and enforce this in an even more strict fashion? What's the reaction to our expose, Rohit?
Well, see, there is opposition that is now being witnessed as far as the prohibition law is concerned, and there are common people also. They are saying that ki jab sharab bandi nahi tha to hi acha tha. We have been talking to a lot of people in Chhapra, and also from the government side we are seeing Sudhakar Singh, MLAs like Sudhakar Singh, who is an RJD MLA. He is in the government, with Nitish Kumar, and he is also questioning the prohibition policy, calling it a complete failure, and he is also accusing Nitish Kumar that what happened in Chhapra and other parts of the state where almost 80 people have died, he calls that this is not normal deaths that have taken place, but it's like a Jan Sanghar which has taken place, and for this he is blaming straightly Nitish Kumar, because he happens to be the Chief Minister as well as the Home Minister. So there is a opposition as far as the common people is concerned, and also from within the Mahagathbandhan there are voices of opposition that are now being raised slowly against prohibition, many asking that it should be reviewed also. So Nitish Kumar is completely on the back foot at this point of time, though he's trying to give a posture that he is fighting it out. He's in the House Assembly, we saw that he was fuming, very infuriated, and he was also claiming that no compensation will be given to any of the victims' family who have died. But yes, there is definite pressure on Nitish Kumar as to what he needs to do with the prohibition policy. Should he continue with this in the present format, or should he in fact bow down to the pressure as far as the people are concerned, and also from the Mahagathbandhan leaders are concerned? Rahul.
Okay, I'll leave it over there. I want to thank our guests. It's very clear that prohibition in the manner in which it is currently being implemented isn't working. This has become a cottage industry, a flourishing industry where people, whether they're in police or the local administration or these characters on your screen right now, who are literally killing others, making money themselves, hand over fist, and on the ground, those who should be enforcing the law are in cahoots with them. Either he cuts his losses, accepts his mistake, or he finds a solution to try and implement this more effectively, which in the past 6 years doesn't seem to have happened. In fact, illicit alcohol and alcohol per se more easily available than it has been in the past. A tough spot for Nitish Kumar to be in. His government is facing massive anti-incumbency. His own image is being tarnished. 70+ deaths, and 3 kilometers away, as that Muhammad Hizbullah investigation shows, 3 kilometers away from the district administration office, you've got illicit alcohol being produced. It's not happening in the back of beyond, in some distant field. It's happening right under the nose of the local authorities, who are clearly sleeping on the job.